All right, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Veil with Bonesy and Conscious Evolution. We love you. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
What's
We're in the
that?
house. In the house. In the house like a rapper.
So, I wanted to talk to you today about our trip a little bit. Not too much because we're going to do a video all together. But, I want to talk about our QHHT sessions. When I was talking to you yesterday, I realized that we had never discussed any of it. So I figured we could talk about it and record it and make a show out of it. So
Sounds good.
I feel like every time we talk, we should just record it because it's like gold, It's like,
Yeah. It seems that way to us.
yeah.
We're kind of yeah.
So,
Yeah, we like it. I like it.
So how you been since you got back?
Great, man. I've I talked to my video, I think the second video back or whatever. I talked about how I had healing from that. I sang in my last video. I sang at the end of it. So if that tells you anything, I won't sing for nobody ever. So to me, that's proof right there. Because I hate the way I sound, man. I barely hold a key, but I like to do it. I just don't like nobody to hear it, So
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't give a shit. I was like, I don't care, you know what I mean? So that's one thing right there. I'm like, wow, just having that was worth it, But yeah, I don't know, man. I came up out of that thing feeling different. It was real weird though. Like it made me feel real foggy for about a day. Did that do that to you? I was like foggy, like hazy, kind of like I can't even describe it, but just, like when you wake up and you're kind of tired, but everything's kind of foggy and you got that thing, it kind of felt like that for about a day. When I was driving back, man, I was about to fall asleep. I was like, damn, it really relaxed me or something. She has a way of relaxing you. Enough relaxation for like 2 days, But yeah, it was a good session, man. I got into some things that I really needed to hear for myself. And, at first because you're awake and you're sitting there thinking, am I making this shit up? Where's this coming from? Is this really coming from my heart? And I got a skeptic inside of me about everything until I feel or see something and it, like bam, hits me. I still kind of like, that kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told you about the bird, that canary, or that yellow bird, and I had that vision because when she starts off, she wants you to visualize a couple things, I guess just to get you, like get your imagination or get you visualizing. I don't know what she's doing, but she said visualize a yellow bird. And the way that bird had flew and the direction it took and the way it went in the trees and the way the sky looked at the tree, it was the exact same scene. I come around that corner and seen that, and I like the shit, man. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. I mean, I got chills just thinking about that.
So what happened? You visualized in your QHHT session.
Yeah, she said visualize a yellow bird, and at first I was like visualizing. I don't know why, but it was like a yellow bird's head sideways, a profile of a yellow bird, but I could see through that. And I was like, I'm sitting there really trying to see this thing, and I can see through it, and it kind of went by me. And then I come to this opening in this like woods, or like there was trees on the right, trees on the left, and it was kind of open in the middle. And I seen this yellow bird, and it comes fluttering right in front of me, and it goes up in an angle from like the lower left to the top right, and then it goes up into this. First, it kind of like lands on this little branch, then it flies back to this branch, then it flies back to that branch. That's what the kicker. That's the thing that made me know the way it went up and the way it went back and forth was identical. The trees were identical. The sky was identical. The opening was identical. Everything was what I had just seen in my session. That validated everything for me, man. I was like, holy shit, because my higher self showed me, and this has happened, this is like the third time that I've either moved through time or I've seen a strand of reality and then come to visualize it in this reality, you know, or something. There's some kind of something strange. It's something strange. I can't hardly explain it, but it really made it. It really made me realize that there was a little more to that than what I was thinking when I left. You know, even though I felt good when I got up, and even though I felt like I got something out of it, I still had that little bit of, was that me? Was that
Skepticism.
yeah? You know, you know how it is. You kind of like make things a little bit skeptical, and or I don't know. That's just how I am. You know, so
Yeah. Yeah, I was
but
the same way because, you know, I really didn't know what to expect with a hypnosis. You know, it's quantum healing hypnosis technique.
yeah,
And when I think of hypnosis, I think of being in a hypnotized state to where, like,
yeah, with a watch, you know,
you're
going
right,
like,
where you're not consciously operating anymore,
right,
which I guess is kind of the thing. It kind of is, but, you know, I mean, when you think about hypnosis, it's really just putting you into a different brain state, you know, a different brainwave operation to where,
right,
like, you go when you meditate. When you meditate, you get into
yeah,
that theta brainwave state. And so it's
and it
kind of
gives
like
you
that.
access.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you access to other information that's out
Right.
here that you know you otherwise probably. Go ahead.
It like slows your brain. You know, I think it opens you up to allow to receive those messages, you know. So I think that's the purpose of it, and that's, you know, the only times that, not the only times, but the main times I've heard voices like talking to me, like giving me a message, was when I was in that brain wave state, you know, like coming out of a
Right.
meditation or in a deep meditation, and I'll get a message or a download or whatever the kids are calling it these days. And so that makes sense. But like at the same time, you're asking, you know, she's asking you questions and asking you to talk. And the more you talk, and it's like, you know, you're sharing a lot of deep stuff, you know? So
Yeah. Right.
it's very personal, it's very private, and you do have to absolutely trust your practitioner. And I do, you know, I absolutely do.
Right.
And I love that her voice in that meditation was just so perfect. You know, when we did a meditation at Wolf Creek that last day, when we just, I mean, that was a powerful vortex we created in that.
I
And we
know.
were like in a pyramid with that tent, you know, like
Yeah.
that was just so crazy. But when she was talking and guiding through that meditation, that just kind of came out of nowhere. Like it put me like deep in immediately. Like that voice, you know, she changes her voice just a little bit, and it's that
Uh-huh.
octave. It's just like like, you
Yeah.
know,
I know.
I'm like, man, that's
It's
cool.
funny when she was getting me to relax. You know, she started with my big toes or whatever. She said, "Okay, we're gonna," and then it went to my feet, and then my ankles, then my calves, and my shins. And she had me sinking, man. I was like, by the time she got up to my body, I was like, I was about to fall asleep. And I was like, oh, this is so relaxed. And then that bed, you guys had like a cushion top or something on that real
Yeah.
foamy. I sunk into that thing, man. I was like, I was about to go out. But yeah, that was good stuff, man. But yeah, we never did talk about, and I ain't gonna trying to change the subject, but that very first reconnection or the circle healing thing that we did with the reconnecting frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
We went from each person to each person for 5 minutes. I never did tell you about, you had green light, and it went from edge to edge. I'm talking beautiful green. I never see green. You were the first one we worked on. And immediately I got green. And it went all the way edge to edge. Because usually my colors, they swirl and they stay in the middle. There's always like, it seems like it's a tunnel or something, and I'm going through something, and there's these swirly colors, but there's always this black outer edge. But when I get really, really hooked up, the shit goes all the way from edge to edge color. And you was green, boom. And then trying to think of who was next. I'm thinking it was
Africa.
Africa. Yeah, she was purple again. It was the
Oh, wow.
same. Yeah, I always get a certain color of purple with her. It's not the color of purple I get with you and Case. You and Case is like this light colored purple. With Africa, it's like grapes. It's that deep dark purple.
Okay.
And then we got to Kim, dude. And it took me a few days to be able to talk about it, getting emotional. She had the most beautiful sun ray colors, peach, Here I go. Peach, yellow, orange, but they were so bright and beautiful. It was so, it just warmed me all over. But she had multicolored. I've never had a multicolored experience like that.
Wow.
And it was just like, oh my God, wow, I was tripping out. And then I'm trying to think of what happened when you guys were doing me, because something profound happened then too. And with, I think it was Sherry, man, she was like blue, you know, blue. And Ed, I'm trying to think of what color he was. I'm thinking Ed was like the color of purple that I always see. You know, that always, when I'm doing with you and Case, the distant stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I get in a real deep meditative state, I can get that color of purple too. I can get them swirls. Usually when I get deep, when I meditate and I go deep, it's like, it's the outside is like a gray, a charcoal gray, and then they're black. And it feels like I'm going through it. I mean, it almost looks like I'm going through something, like a tunnel. And, you know, and I'll be sitting there like, because every time I breathe, I go faster through it. So I'm like, look like Will Hoff, you know, sucking in air, man. But that whole experience, and then Kim, she had a profound experience, and she never really has any kind of experiences or whatever that much. And because she really doesn't, you know, you and me, we're all over this shit, you know, and she's not going through that.
Yeah.
So she doesn't do what we're doing. We're constantly like trying to see what else we can come up, what other kind of shit's going to happen, you know, because we're, you know, it's been seeing so much. I want to see more, you know, it's just getting magical, more magical, more magical. It's like being in the Wizard of Oz type stuff.
Right.
She floated up and she was behind the shed or behind that little building over the creek, looking at the creek about tree height. And when we started coming back, bringing it back, she felt herself. She said it was like she felt like a robot. She went bzzz, 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 and she kind of opened her eyes and she could see our feet, and she knew she was back. But that was crazy for her, because she doesn't like, I don't know, you know, I was really happy for her that she got to experience some of the magic, you know.
Well,
So,
she's always been, she always leaves her body when she has a session, doesn't she?
who, Kim?
Yeah.
Yeah. When she has a session, she, for whatever reason, she usually flies, and everything is white, and she feels like she has these white wings, and she always goes over the ocean. But this one session with you, the last one that we did, she went over flowers. She went over like this field of beautiful flowers. And it's a pretty moving experience for us. It's real, real emotional. So she doesn't really like to do it that much because it's a happy, sad thing.
Yeah.
And but she'll do it. I got a crazy ass squirrel over here that will not leave this bird feeder. He's chewed it up, and she hung it on a little skinny branch so he couldn't get to it. And now he's over here tearing it up.
Nah, he took it away.
Yep. Everybody's got to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. That there's some kind of like weird squirrels out here. It's like a combination of a chipmunk and a squirrel.
Oh, they'll chew shit up.
Yeah.
Those dudes, those are little, they're ground squirrels.
Yeah.
It's probably a ground
I
squirrel.
gotta look up the wildlife around here because I know there's like mountain lions and bears. And,
there's snakes.
Yeah, snakes,
You're in it.
spiders.
Hell, there might be scorpions.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
It's like you said, you got a brown recluse you're chasing down.
Yeah, right. I'm not excited about that, but it's all good. It'll all sort itself out. Anyways, so with the QHHT session, a lot of people go into past lives, and that really wasn't one of my questions. The only thing I wanted to know that I was curious about, as far as past lives, was like a confirmation that I'm an old soul, and where did I come from? What star system did I come from last? And where, because I feel like I've been here on this planet since the beginning. And
What'd you get out of that? What'd you find out? Or do you care to share?
As far as the star system, what came to me immediately was the Palladian, which has always resonated with me. Like,
right.
That was what really started my me on this path was that the Palladian wake up call, you know, that this is all here. You're here for this purpose, and like you're here to be a, you know, a way shower, or you know, to whatever it was. I can't remember exactly. I have a video of it that I did like 6 months ago. And it's a powerful message, but like as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's exactly why I'm here.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I had the vision with the healing, and I'm like, well, that's why I'm here too. Like,
Right. And the Palladian, they will always make you feel all that love, and you felt that unconditional love that night or the morning after your light came out of your fingers or whatever.
yes, yeah, I felt it a couple times, and I feel like now looking back, when I first moved to my brother's house, I was experiencing like extreme vibrating, like my body, like you know when a cell phone vibrates when it rings and it kind of like slides off the table.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
Like in my bed, I was just like zzz, and like sliding off. My whole body was just vibrating, and you know, I feel like that was a healing that I was going through, that transformation that I was going through, the step out of the old, because I was literally just stepping out of my old life and starting to create a new. I didn't even have direction yet. I just knew I needed to get away from the people I was around. But anyways, so I got the Palladian message came through that, you know, that's where I came from, which has resonated with me deeply ever since the beginning of the journey. And the other one that came up was like, yes, you're an old soul, and it's Lemuria came up, like being a Lemurian, which was like the beginning seed civilization that was here. And like I didn't know that they were older than the Atlanteans. I thought that was like the Atlanteans came, then the Lemurians. But I think from what Sherry said, I believe is what she said, that the Lemurians came like the original beginning. But the Lemurians were also, from what Cryon says, the Lemurians had like 90% DNA. And, you know, their DNA was like 90% active, so they were like basically light beings, and they were like with the Palladians, so they would have like the Palladian star seed in themselves and the Lemurian human seed that were like melded together, like Cryon and Lee Carroll, you know, they're just that meld. I don't know, I thought that was interesting, and that was the only thing about past lives or anything that came up with mine. I feel like something started to in the second scene, like the second scenario we went to.
Right.
I got off the platform because I was in, like, I think you came from like the cloud and floated down, right? In your
What now?
session. When she gets you into that mind space, you're on a cloud and then you like float down to the earth, right?
Right.
Well,
yes.
I told her that I was like, I didn't love heights, so she had me in like a subway, like a subway train, and came out on the platform and then walked out, and wherever I was. But one of them, the second one, was I just like awakened, and this whole vision came around, and I was like a woman that was grabbing a loaf of bread from the baker. And then like the scene froze, like everybody was frozen. Like, I don't know, it felt like I wasn't ready for that, or that wasn't important. And then it kind of shifted gears after that. But the first place I went, and it was really hard because I was just allowing those visions to come to me. And the first place we went was to the house that I was born at. And we were only there for like 3 or 4 years, and I remember it, old greenhouse. And the basement was covered in like spider webs, like literally, like you had to like peel your way through spider webs to get anywhere in that basement. And I went back there and really did some serious inner child healing on that first place we went on the QHHT session. And dude, it was so emotional. Like, I needed that. You know, I had been doing a lot of work on the inner child and healing, you know, with my family. Yeah, you know, a lot of my
Right.
situation and what's
Right.
happened with
Yeah.
my parents and everything with me lately.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that and really looking at it from a different perspective and seeing the growth and development that I've got out of that. But this took it to a whole other level, and I was like I was talking to the 4-year-old me that was like freaked out in this one circumstance. I remember like my dad came home drunk and was like screaming that I was in the bed and like started getting violent and angry, and I had to I left. My mom took me out of the room into a different room, and then it was like I was there, and then I was talking to that version of me when I was 4, and it was just, you know, it was fucking emotional,
Yeah.
and it was like a release, you know, because I had to let it go, man. Like I had to let
Yeah.
that go. Um, but that was good. That was a great way to start. And then after that, my second place I went to after the bakery, you know, the scene froze, and then I went outside and walked down this alley, and it was like dark, and there was light at the end of the tunnel. So I went to the light, and I was in a place I didn't recognize. But anyways, at my brother's house, before I left, there was this ghost or spirit that was there that was upset that I was leaving. And I think I told you about it. And Kat, you know, our elemental guide, she contacted this spirit in the astral realm, I guess you could call it, and learned a lot about him. But he was upset that I was leaving because I brought a lot of light to that dark place. You know, there was a lot of negative and whatever spirits or thought forms that were there. And, you know, when I was there, and even now, because we left that imprint there, you know, they can't play. They're still there. They're everywhere, but they can't play. You know, they can't fuck with them anymore.
Right.
Good for my brother. So anyways, there was a spirit there that was stuck. Like he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know that he was stuck there. He still had a lot of heavy emotions from his human life, and we had to work through that. So the second part of my QHHT was going, like, I feel like that was the spirit that walked up to me in my meditation, and I did a healing for that ghost or that spirit, and kind of it started off, he was like a dark shadow, and then as the healing, like I did a healing session on him, and as it progressed, I like it turned into color. Like it turned from like just a black shadow to like a grayscale human figure to just vibrant colors of him and all around. And you know, we parted ways after that, and he walked away.
Wow. That's awesome.
I want to reach
That's
out
awesome.
to Kat to see if, you know, he's actually moved on or not, because that would be awesome. And I can't really remember the third one after that. There was something else, but I don't remember. I want to listen to it. I'm actually going to listen to my session today. I've just I've been all go, man, nonstop since I
Did
left.
she email you? Did she email it to you?
Yeah,
Yeah, she didn't. No, she didn't send me. I don't think she did.
yeah, I got it from Ed's email, I believe.
Right on.
So, you know,
You know, I thought for sure because I had been kind of resonate with Cirrus, you know, the Cirrus system, and I thought if there was a system that I came from, can you hear me? Is that wind too strong?
No, you're good.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought for sure it'd be the Cirrus star system or something. And what it came through for me was that I came from all star systems. I've been everywhere. I'm a piece of everything. It was actually profound. I became in all of it, and I got emotional. I mean, I was like, there was some parts of that I don't know. I needed some answers. I needed some stuff because I've been sort of in a rut. You know, I've sort of been in that rut, and I kind of came there in a rut. I was trying to be upbeat and stuff, but I still had this, I don't know, I've been in this lower frequency, but, you know, and you know that my back went out a couple months ago, and, man, I got on them oxycodones, and that shit screwed up my whole program, dude. You know how good them dudes are and how much you can like them.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
got to where I was loving them things, and it was really brought me down. My frequency just really just, I mean, it helped my pain, but it just, you know, I wasn't me anymore. And then that made me slip into like, not a depression, but then my synchronicity started leaving me, and just, I started really getting this like lower frequency place that I haven't been in a couple of years, or at least a year and a half. And, you know, that, thank God for that session, because that session brought me back. I mean, my synchronicities are back. I'm feeling better. My frequency is up. I can tell that everything is, but I got myself down in a little rut there for a second, you know. But and I wasn't sure what my direction was, and you know, after that session, I was clear what I should be doing, and I've been getting confirmation from people ever since. You know, it's actually heartwarming. It's mind calming. It's nice to know that, you know, just keep doing what I'm doing, keep going where I'm going, and you know, forge on. Because I had doubts for a second, you know, and doubt, you know how doubt is. You know, it's like a seed, man. I mean, all you gotta do is plant that sucker, and oh my God, that dude will grow into a monstrous big oak tree in a matter of a day or two, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
So
allow it
I was really just doubting everything, doubting myself, doubting. I thought, man, the love train left me. I'm left behind. You know, I was really like upset about that. I was really scared, and because you know what you're going through right now, this magic. If it leaves, it'll it messes with your head, because you want that back. You're like, oh my God, I need that back. But like Sherry we've talked about that. She's been going through this ascension forever. She's been, since she was a kid, she was in tune. And she told me that over the course of years, she's found out there's ebb and flows to this, that it's literally the wavelength of life. You know, just like you have wavelengths and frequencies and everything, there's that wavelength of life. There's the highs and the lows, but it all is one frequency, you know. And I was just going through that period. Now I'm back up here, you know. So, but yeah, it was a good session, and I really, with my lives, I don't want to talk about them, but man, some of it was like, I was like, what, 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 you know. So one of the characters, you know, I'd heard the name before, famous person, a king. So I go get every book. I got like 20 books in there on this dude, you know. I never knew nothing about him, you know. And it's so weird, because when I got the books, there's all these synchronicities in there, and there's all this information that I've been like um, fascinated with, and feeling like it pertains to me, and feel like I'm tied into it somehow. It has to do with me, and it has to do with bloodlines and this and that. And I've been feeling that for, well, I've felt like my blood, I felt like for years that there's something about my bloodline. I had felt, and I've told Kim, you know, there's something about our blood. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my DNA waking up, letting me know this. I don't know, you know, and I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to, I don't talk about it a lot, because I hate coming off like that, you know. But there's something in my mind that makes me think there's something about my blood. And not only that it's you know, like something sort of special, but also it's something that if they find out I have this blood in me, they're going to come after me type thing, you know. So I don't know if that's like a paranoid. Like some one dude asked me, he said, "Did you send off for the DNA or whatever?" I'm like, man, I ain't letting nobody know what's in my blood. I don't know what they're, you know, because it's going to come a time where they're gonna, I would think, come after people who are going to be, that are going to pose a threat, or going to, you know, push the envelope the opposite way they're trying to push it, you know. So I don't know. It's deep shit. I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
Deeper the better.
yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of fear, paranoia. But you know, at the same time, there is a force that is battling against the light and doesn't want the light to shine, because that force is what's in power in this world right now, and they're losing their grip on that.
Right.
So yeah, there's going to be battles. There's going to be probably a tiny war, and I think that's going to happen to show the collective that we aren't interested in that. The people don't want that shit anymore. We know as a collective, the majority of people know that war is not the answer, that it doesn't solve anything other than creating more people to get to the central banking system. You know, like that's the purpose of the wars, because the countries aren't on our banking system or the whatever. I don't want to get into that, but you know what I mean. So, you know, now they're trying to say that the darkness is the light, and that the light is the darkness. I heard something the other day. An old friend of mine sent me a video. This lady was talking about that unity and the Christ consciousness was the new agenda of the NWO, the New World Order. I was like, that would be fantastic. Like, how awesome would that be? Unity consciousness, Christ consciousness. I wish that was the case, but like, why are they trying to sell that? They're trying to turn it into something negative, that people that should, you know, the people should fear, that they should fight against unity. And that's what they're creating there. They're trying to say that the light is really darkness. Like,
oh yeah.
And the more they push against this, the more I feel that people are gonna, they're just, you know, because when you hear some bullshit, you feel it. You feel that that's bullshit. You know it in your bones. Like, and same thing when you hear truth. When you hear that truth, you're like, oh wow, like you get the tingles, the feel goods. Like, fuck, that's real. Like, that's real.
Yeah.
And when you get that feeling, you gotta trust it. Because when I first started hearing these things, I got those feelings all the time. It's in your DNA. You know, it's like that frequency of those words hits a chord, and it's like, you start like vibrating, or you get the chills, the hair on your arm stand up. You know, it's like, it's powerful stuff. That means it's true.
Yes.
That is your truth. That's true for you. That's something important. That your Akashic record, or that's in your DNA is telling you. It's showing you that that is what is real.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think those of us that are like regaining our sovereignty, we could see through so much. I mean, I can't even, if I was to watch like Congress or the new, it all looks like a made up, make believe. Everybody's scripted. It's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, I can't take any politician or the news characters, anybody. I can't take any talking heads serious. I can literally see the deceit. I can see how they're lying. I can see it. I mean, it's so obvious to me. I mean, there's no way you can convince me they're telling the truth. There's just no way. So, you know, I think the more you awaken, the more that you, like I say, you know, you become free of these chains, this thing we're entangled in, that they've got us entangled in. I really believe that it's becomes so obvious, so obvious. I mean, it's just, you can't even deal with it. My TV's always off. I can't even, just having that stuff coming into my house, I don't want it, you know. So my TV's always off, always off. And, but yeah, I think, like you said, you know, when you hear the truth, it'll tingle you. And when you're not hearing the truth, you just laugh. You're like, are these dudes serious? Who's believing this? But then you go outside and you talk to people, and you find out there's a whole bunch of people believing it. And you're like, you seriously believe this dude? You seriously think this guy is the answer? You seriously think that person? Just seriously? And they do, man. They do. And it's like, wow. And I sometimes wonder, was I ever wrapped up that deep? And I don't think I think I've always been really, thanks to, I don't want to glamorize drugs and alcohol and weed and stuff, but it had me check out so long that I never did become part of that kind of way of thinking. I was always, you know, like in the clouds somewhere, you know. I didn't know what was going on. You know, I could probably half the time didn't know who was president, but, you know, so, you know, that helps. I think that helps. That's why I think a lot of drug addicts and people who are abused, we sort of checked out anyway. You know, we sort of, went into our own imagination and went into our own seclusion. And, you know, I don't know. I just don't think that we're affected as much by that bullshit as other people are.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was talking to Africa about this last night, that I made the realization, because I've always related to, you know, me going through addiction and changing my life. You got to change everything, your people, places, and things. You got to change. And
Exact same thing.
not only that, but you got to completely change how you think.
Yes.
The exact same thing during your
Exact.
awakening. So it's like
Yeah.
the addicts and the people that have been through the addiction and gotten out of it have already gone through the awakening process. So they
Yes.
do it again, and it's so much easier. But it's also in that, you know, I probably spent a decade running in drugs and, you know, pills and heroin, cocaine or whatever. That was my reality. I didn't know anything, and I hadn't thought of it that way until you just said that. Like, I checked out. I wasn't up to date with the current affairs of the country or of whatever. I didn't care.
Give a shit.
It wasn't important.
You didn't care. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I just cared where the next drug was coming from, where my next high
Thank
was.
you.
You know,
Right.
that's it. You know, and
Yeah.
and you know, that's like it reaffirms what I believe already, that everything we've done up in our lives up until this point is just training for going through this ascension, through this awakening, and it's
Exactly.
so true. But also, it's like, you know, we didn't have an identity. Our identity was that drug addict, that person that just, that you're on like a base survival instinct when you're in addiction that hard, and that's how you operate. You're like fully operating in survival subconscious, and
Yeah.
you don't ponder shit really. You know, not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
You just ponder ways to manipulate and scheme to get what you want from other people.
Right.
But that was profound to me, that I went through it twice before. You know, going through and going through the rehab. You know, I checked myself into rehabs, a couple of them, and went through that whole process. And in those classes and those, you know, intensive outpatient rehabs that I went to, was like, you know, 20 hours a week that I was going through these drug and alcohol classes with these groups of people. And I was in Baltimore City, which is not a very good place, but the counselors there were real, and they were addicts that went through the addiction and came out and were teaching how and helping other people get clean. And when I was in there, those counselors, like, the things they said spoke to me, and was like, you know, that really was the catalyst to change, and it gave me the tools I needed to step out of it. And I remember then I was looking at the counselor, and I'm like, I want to be like her, where in, you know, 5 to 10 years, that if when people find out that I was in addiction, that they will be so shocked, you know, like,
Right.
wow, really? You know, like, and I'm there. Like, I know I'm there, because I don't even really talk about it that much anymore, because that's not my reality. You know, that's
Right.
that's what shaped me and the person I am today, and the abilities I have to just shed old beliefs like quickly, and really doesn't pertain to me. And I'm still finding my identity and who I am and who I want to be moving forward, and creating that. And I think it was easier for me than maybe someone else who had, you know, deep rooted identity in this society, and they were, you know,
Exactly.
that they were attached to,
Yes.
that they subscribed to something so deeply that it makes it that much more of a challenge to separate. And I commend people for that, because they don't have that past experience of maybe going through addiction and already having done the process. And so they're literally doing it for the first time, and getting through it. And
Right. Yeah, and I think that there's so many layers to that. I mean, if you think about the addict or the abused or whatever, especially the addicts and alcoholics and whatnot, you never really bought into the societal shit. You never see, they've put layer after layer after layer of this slavery or these chains or this way of thinking that's gotten people to be stuck, like you said, within their identity of, you've got your people who, they run around with their Starbucks and Apple computers, and that, to me, that's, oh, I ain't gonna go there and put anybody down, but that's it's. I don't even want to go there. But what I'm trying to say is you've got these people that think a certain way, and they're trying to fit in, and they're trying to, rub elbows with the higher class, what they consider, people that wouldn't accept them otherwise, unless they drove a certain car, had a certain computer, had a certain, and unless they wear certain clothes and live in a certain neighborhood, these people would wipe their ass on them. But this is the crowd they're trying to get in. So that's that bunch. But like I say, with the addicts and the people like that, they've never fallen for all that bullshit, never fallen for that, trying to fit in, because they've already been stigmatized. They've already been pushed out of societal crowds and cultures. And, they've been left behind. People don't call them for parties or, we're having a birthday party. They don't want them here, because they don't know what you're going to do. You might act up, But
oh, yeah, they think you're going to steal
you have
something.
that part of it. Yeah. You have that part of it where you're not trying to fit into them type of people, and those type of people that are trying to fit in, they have these layers and layers and layers and layers of the way they think and the way things should be so that they can be accepted. And all they do is jump to this loop, that loop, this loop, over that hurdle, under this thing, so that they can be accepted. An addict don't give a shit. It's like, kiss my ass. That is your first chain. Gone. It's gone. So, and then you're checked out half the time, so you're not picking up on the subliminal shit coming on the TV and the little message here that's supposed to make you feel icky about yourself, and the little message there that's supposed to make you feel that way. So you're not gathering that information, and you're oblivious to it. Now that you're secluded and by yourself, here's the other layers of the onion. You learn how to survive. You learn how to be alone. You learn how to not be accepted. You learn all these things, how to go ahead and function. So now that we've gotten where we're at now, because we are in isolation, or at least I feel like I am, because I have no one. I talk to Kim, but she really doesn't know what I'm talking about. Africa and Ed and Sherry and other people that are going through this know what I'm talking about when you talk about the crazy shit that's going on. But somebody who isn't going through it, really, they try to sympathize. She tries to sympathize and say, yeah, honey, and blah, blah, blah. But she doesn't really know what I'm going through. I mean, it's lonely, and you're so lucky that you got Africa that she's going through it. So you guys are together, and you can, and she tells you, hey, that there flew off of the thing and a black shadow flew across the room. And I looked at the clock. It was 11:11. She knows, you know exactly what she's talking about. You're like, yeah, because this morning, this and that happened to me. And, a bird came up and started talking to me and shit. Me and this bird had a conversation. 15 minutes, and she's like, oh yeah, did I tell you about the spider yesterday?
Yeah.
So you know what we're going through. But other people, they try to wrap their mind around, they try to help you, and like when I say other people, I'm talking about Kim. I don't dare talk about it to anybody else. But yeah, it's if you've been an addict or you've been somebody like that, you know what it's like to just be alone or be stigmatized or keep to yourself or not be accepted. Or so it's easier. I think it's easier for us. And I think we're built for the shit. I think we're built for whatever's coming, pain, just whatever that other people wouldn't be able to handle. They would not be able to handle the kind of pain that's going to come. Because I feel like there is going to be a shaking up, and there is going to be a where the cream rises to the top, and finally good people are going to be in control of things. I really think that's going to shake up, and that's going to happen. I really think that this Christ consciousness or this collective consciousness of goodwill and good intent and love is going to eventually win over. I just believe it. It says it in the Bible. It says it everywhere. They prophesize it. The devil's supposed to reign for so long, and then, paradise. So I think that we're going to be part of that new paradigm, that paradise and we already are, because our mind itself, because all you are really is your mind. All you are really are, I don't want to say you are your thoughts, because I know you say we are not our thoughts, but in a way we are. I mean, when we get in a positive place, we're in a positive place. So I don't even know where I was going or what I was talking about. I think I took 3 or 4 lefts.
That happens.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe we are not our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, but they are part of your existence here.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it's like, the objective here is to control or manipulate energy. And your thoughts, feelings, or your beliefs, emotions, whatever, they're just energies. Emotions are the energies that move us. As a quote I heard on Gaia, I don't know who said it, but that really like touched me. That was like that tingling feeling when I heard it. Like, emotions are the energy that moves us. Like, that's powerful stuff. And a belief is just a chronic thought, a habitual thought
Right.
that you think over and over again. That's
your
all
emotions.
are.
Your emotions are like a tape recorder. Your emotions, that is your memory. There, you will never remember anything unless you had an emotional attachment to it.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, yeah, because you got to have that emotion to relate to it. That's why, like, when you're manifesting, that's the key to it. That's the hardest part for most people. It was for me, and now I feel like I do it with regularity, and I imagine being in that place, and I just have that feeling of being there already. So I'm always here, and I always feel like I have enough. I always feel like I'm abundant and have everything that I need, even if it may not be in my reality at this present moment. It's there, and it'll come, and I trust that. But
Right.
the important thing is to visualize it. For me, I believe it is to visualize it and to have the emotion attached to it, that gratitude and appreciation of it, and it just seems to come.
Yeah, and it's a loop. Your past affects your future affects your past. And that's why they say when you manifest, you are to feel as if you already have it. Well, once you begin to understand how this whole thing, this wheel goes around and around and around, and it doesn't matter which way it's going, whether you're going that way or this way, you're in it. It's, so having that feeling that's the wheel spinning. That having that feeling you already have it, that's what moves the wheel, and it's coming. It's coming. You already feel it. So it's coming. So I can't describe what I'm trying to say, but I know what I'm thinking, There's this loop, and when you feel that, when you feel as if you already have something, you do already have it. It's just when. It's just a matter of when. And in all reality, it doesn't even matter, because if happiness is what you're after to begin with, I'm going to make a video. I was going to, and I may still. Would you choose happiness or $1 million? Because in it, a lot of people would immediately shoot for that $1 million, but the reason they're going for the money is to make themselves happy. They don't realize the end result of what they're after. They think that money is, and it will, make you happy. It can, but happiness is happiness.
Yeah.
If you could find that joy and that happiness without the money, if you could remove some of these things that you feel like you need to get to that place, it's like, traveling to an island. If you remove the boat, and you remove the plane, and you remove the jet ski and all these things that could take you to the island, and you could just blink and be at that island, you're there. You don't, who cares how you got there? You're there. So happiness, my point is happiness. If that's what you're after, you can be happy if you can find that happiness doesn't have to be like a price tag or a car or a person in your life. Because a lot of us, we just feel like we need something. I need. And really, we don't. Africa back?
No.
Oh. But how we get to where we feel like we and it's usually something impossible or something that's really hard to obtain. So we're in misery because we want something, and we feel like, if I had that, like with my channel, this is just a small example, but I feel like, boy, man, if I had 20,000 subs, man, this channel, you know, it would be what I want it to be, you know. But it is what it is, and it's helping some people, and it's helping me. I'm getting stuff off my chest, and me getting stuff off my chest helps people to get stuff. You know, I get emails. I've had some emails of people going through some profound, wild experiences, and it's like, you know that what you've went through, and then you hear some crazier stuff, and you're like, wow. And there's a lot of people, they just need somebody that they can click on that just makes them feel a little bit better, or explains it, or makes some sense of it, or because you can't hardly get your feet on the ground sometimes when this stuff, when it's in the like full crazy ringing you got ringing in the ears, seeing gray shadows moving around, you got a bird sitting there talking to you, and you're talking to it. I mean, you got all these things going on. You start to feel like a wizard or something, you know. You're just like, what is going on? And I can't talk to nobody, you know. So you go to YouTube and find people like you. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's
What's up, AJ?
Well, I'm
You know,
here to help. And
yeah.
that's what I was talking about in the video I did yesterday when I was announcing that we're doing the healing sessions, the group healing sessions again. But that's, you know, that's basically what I was talking about. But this also made me think about, like, even like you say you want to be at 20,000 subscribers. So let's say you get 20,000 subscribers, you're still gonna have that same feeling. You know, it's gonna be like, oh well, it'd be nice to have 40,000 or 100,000. You know,
40,000.
That way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the mindset to be in that state of mind that you love your channel. And the way I look at it, no matter if it's now with 500 subs or 500,000 subs, all my videos are available to anyone who cares to look at them. You know, and they're always going to be there. They're going to be available for people that are going through it, and the people that need to see it will be led to that video in the time. Like yesterday, I got a comment on a video that I did months ago.
Yeah,
and I think it really helped that person. And it was, you know, that's the beauty of it.
Yes.
They're all timeless
because they're going to find it. They'll find it when they need it. It's almost like scriptures in the Bible. You know, when you're doing the Bible thing, and I've been there and done that, but when you need to hear something, you open that book, there it is. It's like wow. It's the same as that. You know, you when you need something, you click and it resonates, and it answers something deep inside of you. But that what I was talking about, that 20,000 subs, that's what drives humans, though. That is what makes us ambitious. Is always that striving for more. If we was on this landmass and we knew that there was a landmass, dude, we'd be building boats. We'd be doing everything we could to get over there. We don't even know why we want to go. Just like the moon, we have no idea. We just got to go there. You know, we know we can do it if we all put our minds together. So human is always wanting more. It's part of the paradigm of being a human, I think. And I think that kind of stifles us in our happiness, because nowadays it's in your face. These people who have more, people who are rolling around on yachts, and man, they got it going on. You know, they live on the side of the ocean in a, 10,000 square foot home or whatever. And you're like, man, I don't have shit. I ain't nobody. I am worthless. It's easy to get, where you're just depressed. You wish you had more, and it's in your face, and you're like, and they're like, what more do you want? Look, that's what I want. I want what Bill Gates has, I want what Trump has. I want what these rich people have, Oprah. I want that. So we always are like that.
Yeah. I know. I remember I said a long time ago, like, you can't buy this. You can't purchase what I have. You can't buy happiness. I would bet money that I am way happier than 90% of the millionaires that are out there. Like,
oh yeah.
Like they're just their happiness is based on their bank account. Like, if they were to lose all of that, they would not be able to be happy.
Right. Could they go instead?
I've lost.
Yeah. Could they go instead with no money? Yeah. Well, could they? Go ahead. Oh, okay. I was just going to say, could they go and sit like in my house and with not much of anything, no, there's no toys here. I don't have four-wheelers and I don't have Harleys and boats and this. Could they just sit with nothing, eating ordinary food, a can of soup or whatever, and just be in the now, in the moment, and be happy without gadgets and without entertainment and without shiny things and without something going cha-ching every time they turn around? I mean, I like money. I'm not knocking money. I'm just saying that, just like what you said, this happiness, this is what we have, this is what you should strive for. And if you can get some money on top of it, sure. But this should be the base. This should be the corner foundation. This should be the cornerstone of the foundation of your life. And that is knowing where your joy and your happiness is, and it doesn't have to be bought. It can't be sold. It's something that you have inside of you, and they can't take it away from you. Nobody can take it. Nobody can steal it. Nobody, nothing. It's there. It's yours. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
I think that was a great show, and we got a little bit of everything, a little bit of QHHT. Hey, there he is. You're coming back. There he is. So we got a little bit of the QHHT session
Okay.
going on in there, and we talked a little bit about abundance and manifestations and just being happy, which is my general message is to be happy, follow your passion, love yourself so you can love other people and share your truth with whoever it may benefit. Oh, great show, brother.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry to interrupt you, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I forgot about it, so it couldn't have been that important. Anyways, all right, everybody. We love each and every one of you. Be the change that you love in this world. And bye-bye.
Peace and love. All right. Are you gone? Uh-oh. What's it say? Recording? I think I'm still being recorded. How the hell do I stop it?